And before I introduce and bring Gillian properly into the room, I just want to let you know that we do have plenty of resources that are online. If you go to dcu.ie/CAO, you'll see plenty more things like blogs, your podcasts. We have social media takeovers taking place all the time. We're here obviously every Wednesday live from 4 to 5, or this will be put up and record as well as plenty of, you can chat live to students, as well as plenty of other resources that are there. So just do keep that in mind as we're talking as well. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring our first guest across into the room. So if you bear with us a couple of moments, we should see Gillian come onto our screens. And a reminder again that there is a Q&A function on the screen, so please do use it as we are talking. I can see you, Gillian. I can hear you. Yeah. How are you?
I'm good, and yourself?
Fresh from co-hosting of our recent virtual open days. How did they go?
Yeah, so much fun. Honestly, like I was sitting there and I felt like I had all the power. I was like, I have the ability to talk to people, to kick people out. Because normally when you're a student, you sit like on the other side and it's the lecturer who has all the power. So it was really fun. And I learned a lot, I have to say, like stuff I didn't know about like accommodation and things like that. So it was really, really useful. And we recorded it as well, which is really handy for people to like look back on if they do have any other questions and stuff.
And go on, tell us, did you kick anyone out when they shouldn't have been kicked out?
No, we were actually really lucky in our room. We had really sensible questions, and there was there the majority. I can't actually remember her name. And the question she was asking, I was like, she must have like a list of things that she needs to know. And she's like straight in there, like on point. And it was really nice to see that like so many people were engaging with us. And but then when they would get like their question answered, they type in like a little thank you. And it was just like, oh, it was so like nice and like heartwarming.
For those that don't know what we're talking about, we had our recent virtual open day event that took place the 20th and 21st of November, and Gillian was a co-host of one of our 9 live channels. So, and she was looking after that, as well as many other students actually helped us out a lot on the open days. So thank you for that. So we have a couple of people listening. I know these go up and record. They're getting brilliant traction online as well. So depending if you're watching this live or watching this back and record, but if you're watching this live, again, just a reminder, there's a Q&A function on the screen. If you want to ask a question to Gillian, please throw it in there. I'll be keeping an eye on it, and we'll get to as many questions as we can the next couple of minutes. So we want to try and get into a little bit around the course, obviously in terms of covering off that side of it. Then we'll cover a little bit of it outside the classroom, and we'll probably just have an informal conversation. And as I said, if there's any questions from people, please do fire them across. So rundown of your course. Give us a sense, I guess, from a helicopter view, what the course is all about and what's involved in it.
So I'm the Bachelor of Religious Education with History, but if you are not into history, you can either take music or English. If you pick music, you do have to do a music exam, but it's not very difficult from what I've been told. I've been told I could pass it, so I mean, we'll have to find out one day. It's 4 years long. You get placement every year, which is really nice. It's what I'm actually working towards at the moment. So just before this, I was getting all my lovely schemes of work ready for my tutor to look at. It's really great. 25% of the course is actually placement. So it means you're not in college. You're actually like out in a school doing what you love, and you're practicing what you love. You're also people, so like to learn like kind of the tricks of the trade and stuff like that, and build interests outside of your subjects. So last year on my placement, I actually discovered that I really like PE, and that I would quite like to maybe like coach a basketball team when I do get out and get a job. As well as that, you also have 3 different electives. So you have your elective, which mine is history, or you can do music or English, as I said. You have religion and you have education. For the religion and education, you're with everybody. So the entire course is together of about 100 people. And then for your smaller electives, you're together with just your class, which is normally about like 30, 40 people, depending on what you're in. It's really nice. All the lectures are just absolutely lovely. Like they're the type of people that you would see in Starbucks, and you'd go and sit down with them and have a chat, which is just so nice. And the course as well is based down in PATS, which is lovely because we love good PATS representation, which means that we have all the education building. We have the library with all the education tools and stuff like that, which is so handy. We have computer rooms. We have the Minecraft room, which is just so much fun to go into. Have you been into the Minecraft room, Johnny?
I have.
Yeah, so much fun. They got beanbags in there as well, which like when you can sneak an owl beanbag and you can just sit there on your laptop, that's like the best bliss of life right there. And yeah, it's just so nice. Down in Pats as well, we mix with all the other students. So we mix with the other secondary school courses, which is the language courses, or on occasion when the science courses come down. And we also mix with the art courses, and we mix with the early ed, which is really nice. So you get to know a lot of people, which is lovely because you can't walk from one end of the campus to the other without someone saying hi to you, which is just so lovely.
To put into context, just for those, and I'm not too sure, again, people's awareness, but we have three academic campuses, and what Gillian is referring to is the St. Patrick's campus, which houses our education courses, if you like, but we do have a DCU All Hallows and the DCU Glasnevin. So in terms of context, that's just where it fits in. You mentioned placement. I know placement is often on, in terms of queries, often on people's question list to be like, give us a sense in terms of detail around placement, what you get up to,
Yep.
weeks, what years, and so on.
So in first year, you spend 2 weeks in a primary school teaching. This is to show how, I suppose, students develop from like primary school into secondary school, because we all know like they hit a certain age and they just get really moody, and it's for you to understand like why does that happen. So I actually taught fourth class on my first year placement, and I still cannot go down near the school without hearing "Hi, Miss O'Moore." So that's like really lovely. Um, and then in second and third year, you go 4 weeks in a secondary school. In second year, you go to your old secondary school, which is so lovely because you get to see all the ins and outs of like your teachers and what they actually do. And that the scary teacher is actually really nice, and that the nice teacher is actually like an absolute mess, and she's lost like half the Christmas test for the class. And then in third and fourth year, you go to new schools. So in third year, it's 4 weeks in a new school. And then in fourth year, it's all of the second semester. So that's from after Christmas to just before Easter. You're out in the school teaching, which is really nice. This year placement is a little bit different, but I think we'd all expect that. So we're actually online this year, which means we're teaching imaginary students, but it gives us as student teachers a lot of opportunity to mess around with new technology, new things, and to learn a bit more, because like I think we can all do an interactive whiteboard and we can all like put up a PowerPoint, but I'm learning lots of new skills this year, like Zoom or the Bitmoji classroom, stuff like that. So it's really great that we're building like a more well-rounded experience outside the classroom on technology, because it is the way forward.
For those that are watching now live, and just a reminder, there's a Q&A function. Please do type in any questions, or those watching this back and record. What do you need to know about the course? So if people are looking now, they're listening to this, they're looking at the prospectus, doing different things. What do they need to know, or what should they know going into the course?
Well, you should know that you have an interest in teaching, because the amount of people I think who come into the course expecting one thing, but it's a complete opposite. If you don't have that passion and that drive to get up in front of people and to speak to them, you're not going to get it through the course. A lot of people do find their passion gets bigger, which is great, but you need to be able to do it in the first place. And even if you're scared to get up in front of like 30 students with like, 30 eyes looking at you, it's you will learn those skills. The teachers who are teaching us have been in that situation and they teach us those skills. So once you have the passion to do it, it's perfect. Like that's what you need. You need to understand your subject. I mean, you can't come in and start teaching the wrong thing. So I did history all the way up through secondary school, and I knew from the moment that I loved it. So when it came to, well, what subject am I going to teach? I knew straight away history. That is what I know. That is what I love. So if you love music, you can teach music. If you love English, teach English. The religion side was quite new to me. So I would say to people not to be scared. I did not do exam religion at all in secondary school. My religion experience was very different to a lot of the people on our course. We have some people who did exam. We have a lot of people who didn't do exam, but they start everyone on ground level and then you all work up together, which is really good because it means that we can all help each other. We all build a nice little community. So like, don't be scared if you think like, I've never done religious education in my life. Like that is okay. Once you want to do it, that's okay. I would also say if you know a little bit about technology, that would be absolutely amazing, because straight away you're able to make a PowerPoint, make a Word document, do loads of things that I did not know how to do, but I was taught by a lot of the people on our course, like the students, they just helped me, and by a lot of our lecturers. So they're like the main three things: to know your subject, to have the passion, and then if you have the technology, you don't need it. I didn't have it, definitely did not have it. I mean, getting into a Zoom webinar is complicated enough for me, but it definitely does help. But it's not required. So those would be like my main three things.
Now, don't forget you're running your own Zoom webinars, so you can not only
Yeah,
get in, but you can run them.
I know, but you helped me with that, so that's okay.
Well, there you go. We're here to help. Excellent answer. Really insightful, and it's those types of, I guess, things that the prospectus won't necessarily tell you. They might tell you in different ways, etc. Hence why I wanted to ask. Brief one: class sizes and kind of hours per week. And I know semester and years might change the hours, but class size and hours on average.
So you do 6 classes in a semester. So a semester is from either September to Christmas or Christmas to Easter. And you could have anywhere between, I suppose, 12 hours to 18 hours. We're definitely not as full on as other courses. So it leaves like lots of gaps in between the day that you can go do stuff with clubs and societies. You can go to the library and do some work. You can chill with your friends. So it's definitely not as full on as, we'll say, primary school teaching, where they would be in from 9 to 6. We would be in from 9 till 6, but we could have a gap from like 12 to 3. So you have that time to chill, relax, eat, all the important things. So you do about 6 classes, and then in second, third, and fourth year, you get to pick some of your own classes. You get to pick like what really does interest you. So this year I am doing theoretical approaches to religion, which sounds really scary, but once you get to third year, it's not, because you've been doing it the past 2 years, and it's an area that really interests me. So that's what I'm going to do next semester. So because I picked it next semester, I actually only have 5 classes this semester, which is very nice. But next semester I do have 7 classes, so it will be busy then. So it really does depend on what you pick yourself, but it usually is 6 and 6 with about 12 to 18 hours a week, which is really nice.
Brilliant. Thanks for that. So we mentioned, or you mentioned, the DCU St. Patrick's campus down in Drumcondra is where you're based out of, formerly based out of, or primarily based out of. How much, just, and I know this will change from person to person, how much time do you spend on the other campuses? Do you do much activities, etc.? And then we might talk a bit about clubs and societies and that type of thing too.
So All Hallows is actually just across the road. It's you cross the road, walk down like a little street, and you're there. It's beautiful. I would recommend for everyone to go to it, like if you do get to come to the campus. I personally, it's my favorite campus, even though I'm not actually based there. The canteen there is just so warm and inviting. The carpet is really thick, and you just like sink into it when you walk in. So it's my favorite that when I have time to relax and study, I will actually go over there and do it, because I find it's quieter. It also has lovely green areas. So if you want to walk, but you don't want to necessarily like walk on the street, it's lovely there. The Glasnevin campus, I don't have any of my classes up there. So traveling up there is mainly for clubs and societies. There's great links with the buses that are right outside Pat's and then right outside Glasnevin, which is really handy. And then when you're traveling up, you can also walk. It only takes about 20 minutes, but I'm that person who prefers to spend €2 on the bus to go up. But it is a nice walk if anyone is interested in that. So the Glasnevin campus is actually really lovely. And now that they've finished all the building up there, it's just so open and so spacious. And like, it just looks so cool compared to Pat's, where Pat's is really colorful. Glasnevin is really like architecturally sound and stuff like that. I love the U building. The U building, for anyone who doesn't know, is our student hub. And in there is the student bar, the venue where we will hold all our like big events, Londis, which is always so handy, so you can sneak down and get a drink. And then there's normally like loads of events on there, so you can go and chill in the U, or you can go into one of the autism friendly pods, which is a pod that honestly, like, it's mind blowing. You go in it, close the door, and it's silent. You can't hear anything, which is so great, especially because one of my friends is autistic, and when we go in, he just is in a zen place because he doesn't have to listen to all the background noise. So it's really cool.
It's good to have, and again, some people that are watching this live or watching this back, whatever it may be, maybe haven't been there yet and don't have a full appreciation just purely from the fact of not being there yet. But I guess to what you're describing is, yeah, you're based somewhere primarily and do lots of your activities in your classrooms, but then you also have, if you want to go for a walk, if you want to go to the shop, you want to go to an event, you want to go to the Helix and watch a show, you have the, I guess, at your fingertips, the use of all the facilities and all the campuses. I think that's an important point to note. Yes, they are separate locations or campuses, but doesn't necessarily mean there's any barrier. It doesn't mean there's any barrier to using to using anything on any campus. So with that in mind, use it like outside the classroom. Give us a sense of what goes on, what you get up to, and then we might talk a little bit around what benefit they are in terms of what you gain, personal
Yeah.
development, things like that. So outside the classroom, what goes on?
Yeah, so I'm involved in DCU drama. I'm really heavily involved. I love being on stage. I love being behind the production. We actually have our 3 shows on over the next 3 weeks, which is really exciting. I'm in the panto this year, and it will be the first cyber panto out of all of the colleges in Ireland, I think. So we're the first one to actually try it on Zoom. It's really fun. You meet so many people. So like, I'm an education student. I'm friends with education students, but outside of that, in the panto, I have met computing students, I've met science students, I've met business students. So we all kind of come to a place where we have some common interest, and from there, so many friendships blossom and grow, and it's just so lovely. We all share the same like interests, which means then that you can then go somewhere else with them. So I really love dance, and then one of my friends loves dance, so we then went to a DCU dance production thing, which was really nice. I'm also really involved in RAG, which is the Raising and Giving Society. So I love giving back. I love volunteering. So they give opportunity for you to develop skills outside the classroom. So I'm really heavily involved with Localize with them, which is a group that help with promoting ideas in a local area for youth to get involved in. So they get teenagers in, and the teenagers say, well, what can we help with? Let's do something for the local garden. And we will then go and like plant trees, plant flowers. It's really nice. Which I love, because obviously I'm studying to be a secondary school teacher. So to do something with teenagers is really great then for my CV. So it builds up my skills. They also offer opportunities for people who are like primary school, or even just if you love sport. They do Go Gaga on a Monday evening, and it's the most hilarious thing ever, where it's like a bunch of little kids running around and you're teaching them GAA, and they're just like, some of them are listening, some of them are not, and it's just absolutely hilarious to watch them with the footballs. And it's like, no, you're not meant to do that, but they're having fun, so you don't want to give out to them too much, and it's hilarious. So it's really nice that like you can develop interests that will help you with your course. So my volunteering with Localize, or just for something I'm passionate about, like my drama with the panto. So DCU definitely do offer something for everyone within the 140 clubs and socks. Like, there's definitely something for everyone.
Localize, as you're talking there, it's brilliant. I've come across it myself. It's brilliant, and it really does give you a good sense of, for those that don't know how do you actually get involved in the club? Like, say, come in first week, first year, how do you get involved in the club and society?
So there is normally the Clubs and Socks week, where in the big Sportland up on Glasnevin campus, you can go in, you can meet all the clubs and societies, but this year we had to do it differently. So we moved online and we had a virtual fair. You would click into the little stand like you would, you'd go up to the stand, you talk to the people. And if you're interested in joining, it's €2 for the year this year, which is an absolute bargain, like €2 for so much fun. And you join, and then you'll get a weekly email all about the events that they're hosting and stuff like that. So if you join, we'll say DCU Dance, they do different dance classes every single night. So if you like jazz, you can go to jazz on, we'll say, Thursday. But then if you like hip hop, you can go to hip hop on Monday. So you'll find all that information out once you get your email. So things are normally set up. You can also join the committees. So I'm actually on the committee for RAG. I'm the inter-society officer, which means that I go and I talk to the other societies and I'm like, would you like to do something with us? And we organize big events. You can check out all the social media as well of all the clubs and socks for prospective students. Like, if you just type in dance DCU, it will come up and you'll see everything that they do, or drama DCU, which is really handy. It's also on like the SU website and stuff like that. So it is really good to like have a look and see what you may be interested in. Because I didn't know when we came, there was a Pokemon Go society in DCU. And I mean, like, what more could a student want than to play Pokemon Go around the campuses? Like, it's just so much fun. So once you find out what you want to do, you just go look them up, ask the questions, you'll find the answers, pay your bargain of a €2. Like, I mean, €2, such a bargain. And then you can have all this fun for the rest of the year, which is great. And I'm one of those people, I sign up to about 50 clubs and societies, and then like my email is just full of all these events and I don't have enough time to do them all. So it's just, there's something for everyone.
We are very proud here in DCU Club and Societies, and they do rightly get so much attention. They get so much, I guess, appreciation both in and hopefully then people who do decide to come into DCU. But often a hidden kind of side or gem, even though you do realize this very quickly, is the formal positions, the PROs, the chairpersons, you have your own position, the various different positions that you can hold, which give you
Yeah.
an opportunity to personally develop. And we mentioned this before around leadership and communications and traveling and hosting events and, giving back to society and the community and the campuses, etc. So Club and Societies comes as a big ball of opportunity in many different ways,
Yeah,
depending
to
on.
build yourself outside the classroom. It's not just about the degree you'll hold at the end of the day. It's also about the experiences and the memories you'll make. And I will say that to anyone who comes to DCU, you don't just come in, go to your classes and go home. You get involved, you get stuck in, and you get so much back for it. So much back. Even if it's just that you made a difference with fundraising for a charity, even if it's just that you made a new friend, you get so much back, and it's just so worthwhile. And I think it's one of the only campuses as well that you can go. So like, I'm on Pats, but I could go up to Glasnevin and I will meet so many people that I know, because even though we're a medium-sized university, I feel like we're just the tiniest little one that, like, I feel like I know everyone and everyone knows me, and it's just so heartwarming and lovely because it is that community within DCU and within the clubs and societies as well.
It's actually interesting to say, because on episode 7 last week we were speaking to Roisin, and she was describing it as there's so much support but it doesn't smother you. So if you want to go and seek something out, or you want to find somebody, or it's a friend or whatever it might be, they're always there, but they're not kind of in your way as such. And
Yes.
that was in a support context, but I think you're saying it in kind of a similar, that you have so much at your fingertips and you
Yeah.
decide and you have the power to. um we're nearly coming towards the end. These are like a drop in the ocean. I appreciate, for those that are listening and watching this back, when it's up online as well. So where did you do your research, or how did you find the right information that you needed for the course when you were initially coming in?
My course, I followed the DCU Snapchat Fridays, which is just DCU Snaps for anyone who's watching. And I heard about my course on there, which was so funny when I came into the college, because I then met those ambassadors. And when I heard about it, I was kind of like, that's for me. I love teaching. I love history. I didn't necessarily know about the religion, but then when I went on to the online prospectus, I found out more about it. And I was like, yeah, I could do that. Like, that could be me. I could be teaching religion in some classroom with some random students. So then I came to the DCU Open Day and I spoke to the lecturers. I met my current program chair, PJ Sexton, who now, like, I know so well. Like, it's just so mad to kind of think that 3 years ago, 4 years ago at this stage, I was just that student. But now, like, I'm within the course, helping other students. So I'd recommend for everyone, like, if you want to know more, you follow the DC Snapchat Fridays. Like, just add us on Snapchat. We pop up every Friday and it's really funny to watch. Like, I still watch them and I'm in a course. I learned so much from them. And also the Instagram, I think that's so handy this year. Like, I wish we had an Instagram back when I was a student. Um, and then of course the Twitter, I went onto the Twitter and I was looking at the blogs and I was looking at things that, like, current students were doing and current, like, lectures and stuff like that. So that's where I got my information. But the DCU prospectus is really, really great and it tells you so much information. But the online stuff is where you see the things that you don't necessarily hear about, like what I think a student needs before coming into the course. You don't get that on the prospectus. So I definitely recommend for students, go on to DCU Snapchat Fridays, go on to the Twitter, go on to the Instagram. Like, that's where you will get all the information you need and you'll make such an informed decision then when it comes to the CAO. Like, you'll know what you want.
And I know my colleague Sinead McCrowan does fantastic work all around the social and much more. And just to maybe highlight and maybe inform everyone, it's what. So yes, we're across all social media channels. We're here every Wednesday live. These go up on record as well. We have a UniBuddy platform. You can chat live to students. As you mentioned already, you can read blogs. There's podcasts. There's so much more. There's online campus tour videos, a whole series of them that our student ambassadors did, amongst other resources that are there. So just bear that in mind if you're listening to this now, going, where can I get more information? I guess, as Gillian expertly described, you can get it all across many different platforms. So we covered a little bit, and again, half an hour conversation, really short, but we covered a little bit around the course, what goes on inside the course, the campuses, the opportunities outside the classroom, and where you did your research. What else, if anything, should somebody know? Or if you're putting yourself back in your shoes a couple of years ago, someone that's listening now, prospective student, what would you tell yourself? Is there any one piece of advice or anything at all that jumps to mind?
The one piece of advice I would say is to look at how you would get to the college. I did not realize the links between the different campuses. I thought All Hallows was halfway across the city when it's literally a 2-minute walk down the road. And the links between the Glasnevin and Pat's campus are great. There's so many buses that go that way. And even if they don't drop you right at the back gate, you can just walk down like a 5-minute road and you're there. It's also only 20 minutes away from the city, which I just think like Drumcondra and Glasnevin, oh, they're ages away. But realistically, I'm the person who gets lost on O'Connell Street. So I just did not realize how close everything was to one another, which is really handy when you're traveling. I'd also say, like, look at everything. Don't just look at your course. Look at what else is offered. So look at placement. Well, what placement are you going to get? Do you want to go to your old secondary school? Do you want to go to your old primary school? Think of everything, because it's not just, okay, I'll put this down, I'll get the points, I'll go to college. There's a lot more to think about than just that. Like down on my CAO, I had random things. I had business, I had teaching, I had communications. I just did not know what I want to do. But then literally the day before, I put my course on top, and I'm so glad I did, because I'm so happy. And I'd really recommend for everyone, make that informed decision, because at the end of the day, what you get offered is what you get offered. And you want the train ticket, as my mom used to say, it's a train ticket, and you want the train ticket that is going to go the full distance for you to get to where you want to be. And I think that's where you need to do your research. So I would definitely recommend for everyone to do that research, because at the end of the day, I'm so happy right now. If I had told myself in 6th year, you're going to get there, you're going to go the distance, and you're just going to be so happy. That's what is the main thing.
I don't think I should even try attempt to add anything on top of that final answer. I think that's a great way to finish and conclude today's conversation. I just want to thank you for your time. I know lots of people.
Oh, thank you for having me.
We didn't even get a chance to mention student ambassadors, but you do lots of fantastic work as well. And lots of people will, I know, no doubt, get lots of value and insight from this 30 minutes or so. So as always, thank you for your time, and we'll speak soon.
Thank you for having me.
Not at all. We'll speak soon. Thanks, Gillian.
Thank you. Bye.
Not at all. See you soon.